Thanks again for being with us today for a very special edition of The Arts is Healing. And now I'm joined by Gayle Comer. She's the Executive Director of Hidden Hills Ranch. Gayle, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us what the mission is of Hidden Hills Ranch, and then we'll start to talk about how you started incorporating the arts.
Well, we try to teach children and families discovery in nature and using our facility with our rescue animals and hiking trails, ponds, all those kind of things to learn hands-on.
Wonderful. And who all participates at Hidden Hills?
Primarily children. We have everything from preschool through college-age kids, young adults, and then we have events for families in the community as well.
Wonderful. And how long have you been there?
I've been there 15 years,
yeah.
And the nonprofit's actually been around 22 years. So we found this location really has expanded what we can offer in the way of using our arts and healing and using our animals that kind of came to us for special needs programs and just learning.
Wonderful. So let's talk about how the arts component got started. What does that help you do?
Well, we've always served a lot of children for augmenting their education and using charter schools and homeschooling families, and so there's always been music lessons taught there, from piano to ukulele, drums. We've had a little choir before, things that homeschool children might not have the access to. So that's happened. Then we've had preschools, and so they've been able to have some music incorporated, and of course the arts. And so then our special needs programs, you were gracious to fund a program to bring in music therapy, and that has been just monumental in helping these programs just boom throughout the year.
Wow.
So we've seen firsthand how the music and the arts really just augment our programs.
So if a family has a child that has some sort of a special need, how do they find you?
Well, we advertise a lot. We have a program called Special and Unique Needs, and so it's actually offered weekly for children. It's kind of an overflow of what you had us offer these programs, and because it was just a limited time, now it's spun into weekly for these children to have those opportunities. And so it might be that they go on a hike and they've learned how to make a paintbrush and find the brushes, and then we'll come back and try to paint the little pony that's standing there, do things like that. Some others that have a little bit bigger challenge when they come for the music therapy, they may not be verbal, but music speaks to their soul. And so they're able to shake something or strum the guitar, something that just really makes them thrive. And so we see the parents with tears streaming down, seeing their children interact, where in fact, in other environments they couldn't, because this is a very small and personal environment, and we just love these opportunities.
So you're the executive director, so I know your type, you have to do everything.
Yes. And
you have to be everywhere. So when you get a chance to actually personally see these things in action, do you have any special memories that you have? You've been there for a while.
Well, a couple weeks ago, actually, we had a maker station.
Oh, you did?
Yes. We do this for a STEAM class. I know everybody knows STEM, but we had to add that A. Yes. So STEAM class meets weekly, and so the families bring a lot of their recyclables, and every week we have the teacher has a whole program plan, but they want to be at this maker station. And so they're also doing a little play, working on a play and doing their backdrops with the typical boxes, but they're trying to make their own paint. They're trying to make their own music. So the kids came up with their own little drum set, their own music, and they're trying to write some of their little musical score for their play. And this is all just out of the creative genius of their minds, because they were free to do it. And we had to promote this class because the parents want to know, well, what are they going to be learning? What box can I check? And we said, we're taking taking away the writing. We're going to go find sticks to write their names or be creative in that way. And so that's something that sticks out in my mind, that we're always trying to find ways to reach children, to educate them, to make them whole, and just heal from within also. And we found arts and animal, it's, you know, the music, art, animals is just the ticket. And of course we have the outdoor setting, so we can combine all of them, and it's this wonderful circle where the magic happens.
That is so phenomenal. I love how you're describing your program as so holistic. Things just flow from one kind of thing to another, as opposed to sometimes even when there is a music program or an art program, it's still just there's a 45-minute set, then there's another set, then there's something else. And it sounds like your program is really designed a lot more like the way our brains really work.
It's right. It's exactly right. So sometimes when the kids want to practice their music, they'll go out and sit in our little petting zoo. Or some kids that have dyslexia, they'll read to the animals out there. And they might have a goat in their lap, or take the kids for a hike, or they're going to paint this little white pony and make it a unicorn, and just paint all over it, and it's therapeutic to the kids to get their hands on them, and then they've made this beautiful creation.
Wow. So you say you have some events happening at your space. Can you describe, for people who haven't had a chance to be there yet, where exactly is it? It's open to the public sometimes, right?
Yes.
So where would you actually find it, and then how big is the ranch?
Well, we're on 65 acres, and we're located in North Monterey County in Prunedale, and it's just a couple miles off 101, so it's very easy to get to. And it's called Hidden Hills Ranch because it really is hidden. And there's beautiful hiking trails and a pond, and lots of things to do there. So we'll have events several times a year called Farm Days or Farm Nights. And so that people can come to that. We have holiday events. We'll have a big Easter party. We have a big holiday event coming as well. And in some of those events, actually all of those events, we have opportunities for crafts. For instance, we'll do a night hike, and you can bring a jar, and we'll decorate it and put a little light stick in it, and we'll go on a night hike and then see the animal dens and look at the stars, things like that. So there's always an opportunity to reinforce what we know is therapeutic. And you know, I like to tell the families, quiet, they don't know this is school. They don't know that they're learning. They don't know that they're here to heal their hearts and their souls. So those are some of the just the neatest things that we get to experience. So
do you, can you share any of the comments that parents have made? You talked a little bit about the teariness that can happen, just can be overwhelming when that moment happens. You see the light turn on and you didn't know if it ever would. And so can you share a little bit about what they tell you?
Well, they tell me that it's the happiest place that they can come. They go back and tell their therapist that they need more time. They need to bring them back there.
Wonderful.
They need to have this hands-on opportunity to get wet, to play in paint, to use their outside voices, to do all the things that they can scream, make a song, splash, do everything that a kid is intended to do. We love it when we hear that their phones don't work up there, because the parents can they can be unplugged and see what the kids enjoy. We've had kids that have lost parents. We've had single families. We've had very sad stories. And therapists will bring them to us. We've had Jacob's Heart come and use the facility for children who've lost, families who've lost children to cancer. And they're painting rocks with the names of their siblings or their children that passed on, and they're hiding it in the ranch. So this is a place that people want to come over and over and over again, because what's new? Are we going to be shearing the sheep and then making our felt balls? Are we going to be spinning some wool? What are we going to be doing hands-on that's going to make a difference and a life memory, and potentially change these children trajectory of their life?
Yes, right, definitely. So can you tell me a little bit about what's coming up next for you? What do you have in the pipeline?
Well, we have open house for charter schools coming up. It's a Christmas holiday on December 14th will be coming up. Actually, I was just working on that, so I don't have a lot of things I can announce right now, but if you look at our website and if you can get on our Facebook, we have awesome updates very often.
Excellent.
And a monthly newsletter that goes out that can tell everyone what's coming up.
Wonderful. And so how about for you, when you must have a board of directors, right? Do you, have they started to make plans for a few years out? Are there any other things like on the horizon that at some point you're going to get to, especially if you do get enough community support for what you want to do that you can share?
Yes. Well,
we like the inside scoop, I have to say.
You do want
I know
the inside scoop.
You might have some limitations.
No, I would love to tell you because we really want to start a capital campaign. We do science camps on a daily, science workshop or a camp, which includes, so if it's a bat workshop, we have the bat houses out there, but then we have the arts that go with that, the crafts that go with it, and then we have bat sightings on the ranch. Excellent. So we want more of these workshops, and so now the teachers are wanting to spend the night. So we've had a horrible storm that came through, which was very devastating. Lost animals to these trees all falling down, but now we're making lemonade out of this lemon. And so we have cleared a spot that's ready for yurts.
Wonderful.
And so we can have some overnight science camps take place. So we'll be funding that, and then we want to have we need some new restrooms and things like that for some of these events. So in order to facilitate the community for larger events, we've now been able to enlarge our parking, but we need to really do a capital campaign to have an area that will facilitate groups.
That is wonderful. And when would you get that underway? Do you
We're
have
hoping
a timeline?
Our first grant will be going out the first of the year for that. So we're just keeping our fingers crossed that all the county regulations and the funding will all come through so that we can have more music workshops, more outdoor theater, more just letting their families come and enjoy and see the therapy that you can find in outdoor animals and art.
That's perfect. That's wonderful. So before we have to let you go, is there anything you want to share about your experiences using the art as a component of your larger program that we haven't had a chance to talk about?
Well, I think when people hear Hidden Hills Ranch, they think, first of all, it's horseback riding and there's animals and you can go on a hike. But we know every program, our summer camps, always includes a component of art because we feel the value is there. We start with singing, we start with songs, we start with hand motions and dance and movement. We include, like I said, painting, art, creativity, because they're not just learning to ride a horse. There's so much more involved. And so we want people to understand that we're not just for special needs. We're not just for one little thing. You can't put us in just a little box because think of us as the size and scope of Hidden Hills Ranch of 65 acres, all that we can accomplish with the support of the Arts Council, which we thank you for the years of that, but beyond, so that we can offer so many more things that will just make a difference in this community.
That's phenomenal. And are you finding, we just have another second, but is it mostly Monterey County residents who come and find you?
Not really. We have a lot in San Benito County and Santa Cruz County, and then some even come from Santa Clara County.
All right, so
but
it's
primarily we do have, of course, Monterey County is our biggest group of people.
But as you grow and whatnot, it's good that you have some other folks coming as well.
They're not finding what we offer anywhere else.
Oh, and that's amazing.
Yes.
So that's how you know what you have there.
Right.
So Gayle, it's such a pleasure. Thank you for your
Thank you
leadership.
so much.
Thank you for really moving all these wonderful programs and making them available.
It's only because of people like you.
Thank you.
So thank you.
You.
Uh-huh.